Well, I don't know if you've kind of heard the short introduction is just kind of a short business podcast to get to know LC Valley businesses, the people that run them, own them, care about them, kind of their stories. Not really like a technical, like how much money are you making on each cup of coffee type of thing, but
That'd be
just,
pretty boring.
yeah, like, like how you got into it, how you fell in love with it, like why do you do it, and that kind of thing. So maybe just start by introducing yourself and we'll go from there.
Okay. I'm Bobbi Eller, and me and my husband own River City Espresso at 1441 G Street in Lewiston, right behind the community center. And if you've been here for any length of time, longer than 6 years, it used to be the Coffee Cow,
Yes. And you've kept the delivery vehicle.
the cow car.
Yes.
Yeah.
And how often do you use that?
8 to 12 times a day.
Yeah, man.
It's always on the road.
And
We do a very good delivery business.
yes. And do you do the lunches and everything along with that?
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. 50% of our business is food.
Yes. Yeah. And that's maybe not super common for the coffee shops in the area. Do you did you always do the food from the start, or?
Yeah, it was pretty limited. I mean, whenever we first took over, it was just coffee, drinks, blah, blah, blah. But where we're from, Fairbanks, Alaska, we moved here at the tail end of 2015.
Mhm.
Where we're from in Fairbanks, Alaska, all the coffee huts, and there's one every 3 blocks, have food.
Mhm.
We owned a moderate-sized restaurant, did pretty good business with pretty much everything that you see at my hut was on the menu there. And so when we were planning on moving, middle 2015, actually my husband found the Coffee Cow for sale.
Mhm.
And I was too afraid.
Yeah.
I was too afraid to buy a business in a town that I'd never lived in, didn't know anybody, just didn't know anything about it.
Mhm.
And I take a long time to work out a plan. You know, if I'm going to change my hair,
Right.
this is a 6-week project. You know, I got to really psych myself up for it. Think about it, talk about it, ask questions, ask other people, you know,
Mhm.
look at pictures. So starting a business down here where I'd never been before was really, really scary. We moved down here, and a year and a half later, we bought the business. It was still for sale. And so, I've forgotten the question.
Right. Well, how did you get started in coffee? Was it prior to this, or?
Yeah. So in Alaska, in Fairbanks, I was actually a lunch lady.
Mhm.
I worked at an elementary school and then moved to a junior high where my kids went. And they did not hate me. Actually, they liked it for
Nice.
some weird reason. And I actually really liked that job. I'd always been in food. I worked for a larger chain, not chain, but in our town, there was a dude who owned 3 restaurants and a giant warehouse where he did all the prep work, or I did all the prep work.
Mhm.
I worked for him for like 10 years. I learned a lot. It was really amazing. And then I got out of it. I had the 3rd kid, and I left because it was a very physically strenuous job.
Right.
And so I just started jumping around to little jobs, and then got a job at the school district because I'm like, well, you know, think about your future. You get a
Mhm.
good pay, good benefits, good medical, and all that kind of stuff. But that job, there was no growth for me because I didn't want to go back to working into an office situation. That's where I could go from that lunch lady. I could be part of the bureaucracy or whatnot,
Right.
crunching numbers and telling little kids that they can't have lunch because their mommy hasn't paid their bill.
Right.
And that was too irritating for me. So we found this restaurant for sale that is pretty much a dead and dying business. She didn't know what she was doing. She didn't want to do it anymore, and she wasn't really very good at it anyway.
Mhm.
So we made her a deal and we took it over. I didn't know anything about making espressos. I knew what I liked to drink,
Mhm.
but I could cook. I could make food because I had done that prior to all this. And so, yeah, we just made her an offer, and she said no. And I started crying, and she's like, fine, I'll sell it to you.
Works.
And that was 10 years. I owned it, about 10 years. And that's where we got the basis for this. That's where I learned everything.
Nice.
And I hadn't had a job outside of that in a long time. And my husband loved what we did. And we knew food. That's
Yes.
what we were talking
Yeah.
about. We knew that there weren't any places down here who had food in their hut. And we knew that it was possible. It's tight.
Right.
It's a lot of work, but it's possible. And so, yeah, we got a full breakfast menu, lunch, sandwiches, homemade soups, homemade scones. We do a little bit of this and that in between those bigger items.
I think the two items I always get are the tuna sandwich and the grilled tuna sandwich,
Yeah,
and
tuna
then
melt.
the spinach salad.
Oh, it's so good.
Yeah, I think I just stick with those two because I've liked them. So I just you don't move away from the items you like, I guess.
Sure.
Yeah.
Oh, people ask, they drive up, they're like, well, what's good? And I look at them and I'm like, it really depends on who you are.
Yeah.
Today, chicken salad's hot. Tomorrow it'll be tuna. And
Right.
by the way, tuna is like the simplest thing in the world. It's so old fashioned. It's so old diner food, but people love their dang tuna. I don't get it at all. I don't get it, but it's good for me.
Right.
It's easy.
I like it a lot. I don't know why. But and you do deliveries. Are those mostly to businesses, or is it a lot residential? Or
No, I'd say that probably 85-90% is to businesses. We'll do residential. We like it if we know who you are.
Right.
And I do have younger people working for me, so I let them kind of put it to their own decision if they want to go to a home. I don't. We've never run into any problems, but I wouldn't ask a 16-year-old girl to drive to a stranger's house and drop off something, unless
Right.
it was porch drop off like it was during COVID. That was really easy.
I actually don't even mind that.
Yeah.
I don't know why. I can talk to people. I don't like dealing. I've always from young age never liked going to the door to get the pizza from the pizza guy. I don't know why. I never.
Just drop it.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't like it for some reason. But maybe because when I'm home, I'm done dealing with people. Maybe.
Possibly.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So, but yeah, I think the business delivery, we've used it a handful of times, and it's awesome. You don't have to worry about anything. You don't have to worry about the other delivery services that may or may not be in a good mood that day.
Sure. Well, and I haven't dealt with another delivery service. This business came with the delivery car, and we just went with it. In Alaska, we did run a delivery service through, I can't remember what it was called, but it was Fairbanks. Whatever. I don't know what the word I'm trying to find is, but right there in Fairbanks, not a chain or anybody you'd have heard of. And it didn't go very well. They had a really hard time writing their program, and we couldn't get orders into us properly. When you're ordering a coffee, there's 1,000 options. You can't, I just want a 20-ounce latte, but I want it to have sweet, and I'd like to have these 3 flavors. I'm going to need skinny milk, but I also need some whipped cream on top, and then
Right.
And so that proved to be a real pain in the butt. So when we got down here, we had the delivery car. I was like, no. And if we hadn't had one, I would have bought one.
Right. Well, it seems to work out well. I don't know if it would work as well if you went with even the big new guys in the system. It probably isn't catered well to you guys.
I like what we do. We can control the time. We can control, we can control the time, and that's a big deal right there.
Right.
But also we get to see our customers.
Yeah.
We're not delivering to strangers. We know everybody we deliver to, and they like to see us.
It's true. Yeah, you know that someone who cares about the product is handling it from A to Z, and so it kind of works out better for you guys and the customer probably.
I think you're right.
Yeah. And so coffee, you have your brand that you like to use. Is that from Alaska, and you kind of brought it over along with the intro to coffee?
Absolutely. It is. Our coffee comes from Kaladi Brothers out of Anchorage, Alaska. They've been in the business for over 30 years. When we bought our little restaurant in Fairbanks, our first little one, they were already serving it. And I think they might have been the only ones in Fairbanks. In Anchorage, meanwhile, they were a household name, but not so much in Fairbanks. But people love their coffee. And I would agree. Their coffee is fantastic. Maybe even just a smidge better than their coffee is their customer service and how they care about their customers. And even just little old me in Fairbanks, very tiny little business up there. They would come and visit us twice a year on their own dime, bring parts, bring people to train my employees. So every spring, every fall, I got free training, free product, and free repairs if I needed anything on my machine done. They're phenomenal. Kaladi Brothers, Anchorage, Alaska. You can order them on the internet, get your own, or you can come down, see me, and I'll order it for you.
Sell the grounds in-house as well? Or
Well, I sell whole bean. I sell what I've got on hand. So if you want it ground, I can't do that because I don't have a grinder. I don't have space to put my grinder in there, but I can order you whole bean. I can order it ground. It's not on hand, but you just get with me. I order every week. So I have a couple customers who do that.
Nice. And do they still stop by down here as well? Or?
No, they don't come here. Fairbanks
Yeah.
is a little bit closer to them. It was only a 6-hour drive, and they were visiting lots of other people along the way because they supplied to tons and tons of people there.
So do you think maybe you're their only customer kind of south, or?
That's a good question, and I've never asked them, so I don't know. I know that they do ship everywhere, but I don't know how many other businesses use their coffee. And then they've got, last count, 16 locations in Anchorage that serve their coffee, and maybe 10 of those are actual Kaladi cafes, I guess you'd say, Kaladi Brother cafes. And there's probably some other coffee houses that serve their coffee too. So they did have a location, a Kaladi, affiliated with them in Seattle, and was probably there for 10 years, 12 years, and just closed the other day. What a bummer.
Oh, man.
Yeah, that's okay. I guess it happens.
So when you first moved here and after you opened, what was kind of your kind of perspective on the LC Valley? Did you like it right away? Did it take a while to get acclimated to the area, or how did that go for you guys?
Well, business-wise, I was really, really happy to be doing coffee again. Before that, I had worked for a local bank, which I'd never done in my life. I'm not even quite sure how I got the job. I liked it. It was too quiet for me, though.
Yeah.
Sit behind a little desk and punch numbers and stuff. That was too quiet for me. So I was thrilled, super happy to be there. But I like serving. I like meeting people. My customers are my friends. A lot of my friends. But I was thrilled. My husband still had a job. He did his thing. This was, he was my maintenance guy and idea guy and, word of mouth guy.
Right.
But I was in there, trying to get the ball rolling on the food. So at first it was pretty slow, breakfasts and stuff. And then we branched out into the homemade scones and then lunches and soups and all that kind of stuff. But I was thrilled.
Yes.
I love it here. Alaska's beautiful. There are a lot of beautiful places to live. And I lived there for 45 years. So it was time to roll.
Yeah. Yeah, not a lot of people, I mean, maybe just the bias of growing up here. Not a lot of people experience living in two places at once. I haven't. Stuck right here.
Well, and it's really lovely. Funnily enough, we actually have quite a few people who will see our Kaladi Brothers sign on the side of the building and flip in, and they got to talk to us about Alaska. One of my daily customers, Stan, I actually graduated with his son in Fairbanks from high school.
Well.
We were friends.
Yeah.
And then he just rolls through the hood one day.
Back and forth between Alaska and here.
There absolutely is.
For whether it be work or pretty much anything.
Yeah.
Seems to be, I mean, a lot of people do fishing excursions up there and come back and
hunting. Yeah. Got several friends who, I'm going up to the Kenai, wherever they're going. But that's how my husband ended up there. His aunts and uncles, his father, mom, at one time or another have all lived in Valdez or Juneau or Fairbanks. And so he ended up being up there for a lot of years since he was 8, and then migrated back. And that's when I came with him. But you're absolutely right. There is a lot of back and forth, a lot of, I can't think of the word. Today's not a good day for words.
Mix and mashing. Who knows?
Yeah.
This helps sometimes.
It sometimes does.
Coffee's good. Well, let's have this argument. Is it coffee or beer that's people's favorite? Because I might have the answer. Because coffee, it's necessary for my life.
Well, and that's kind of what I was thinking. It's how you start your day. But if you're not a morning person,
yeah.
If you live for the nights, then it might be beer. Coffee might just be a necessity. Not your favorite part of the day, but a necessity.
Well, here's my argument. How many times have you said, I want 6 more of those coffees?
That's a great point. That is a great point. Right. It's been a long time since I've said that.
Right. I mean, I'll drink a pot of coffee while I'm working, but I guess maybe I do have 6. So maybe the point's moot.
But it was only one pot.
Right. Yeah.
You didn't say
only
6
one.
Pots.
Yeah. Pot of beer doesn't sound that good.
Yeah, I've gotten a newfound love for beer in my later years.
Yeah.
Especially since I found you guys.
Oh, yes. Yeah. And then what is your kind of favorite thing about the LC Valley? Like, what's made you stick around since you did make the move?
Well, I love the weather. number one,
Right.
is cold in Fairbanks.
Correct.
Very cold. Summers are way longer. Up there, you got 3.5 months to squish in all of your goodness. And that can be really hard, especially if you're running a business. The first few years we owned it, we never left any summers. Down here, summers are, we're also big tourism right where we were located. They dropped the tour buses off like right across the street from us, and they would pile off and like The Walking Dead, just start walking towards your place. And so I like that it's a little more relaxed, a lot more relaxed down here. So for me, business wise, it's consistent. During the summer, it's a little bit slower, whereas up there it was super busy. So business wise, I like that. I like being able to relax a little bit in the summertime for a change. The weather, I like this area. So where I'm, Fairbanks, quite a bit bigger, 30-40% bigger than this area right here. I like that this is smaller.
Yeah.
Maybe it's because I'm older, but I don't need that many options. I don't need that many places to go. I'm happy with what is offered in the valley. And if I need to go someplace, it's no problem. It's just a couple hours away. You know, my kids live 2 hours away. I can go visit them and get to where I need to be. An hour and a half south, I can be in Whitebird or Grangeville, hanging out with my friends on the salmon, having a great time. I can get wherever I need to from here. But mostly I don't go much further than 2 hours away. I just like it. It's pleasant. It's unlike where I'm from.
And I think it's a pretty good family place as well. I know you're a family business. Do you still have some of your kids working for you or with you? Or
first time in 13 years that none of my children are working for me. They've all moved on.
How long ago has that been?
Well, Grace left a year and a half ago. She was student teaching. She couldn't work for me anymore. So was it a year and a half ago? Yeah, she does some guest spotting here and there when we need somebody. She lives in Coeur d'Alene now, where she's teaching school. But and I guess it's not necessarily true that I don't have any family. My grandchildren come to visit in the summer, and they're 8, 10, 12, and 14.
Oh,
the
so
oldest ones.
And they can do all kinds of stuff.
I got these girls making coffee. They know how to make your Red Bulls. They know how to make your Lotus. They know how to run the little toast handhelds. They're very, very good. And yeah, they'll do dishes if they have to, but it's not so glamorous.
We just switched to toast. We like it a lot better. I'm
in love with toast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's been pretty nice. It took me a while to hook up all the stuff, but it was since then it seems a lot less entry level than Square did, at least. Well,
I never used Square. I have used another point of sale in the past at my other place, but when we moved down here, it was just the coffee cow. River City was just too tiny for that. We just had a cash register. But I felt like it was time to move on. It's a lot of interesting options with the toast, with the loyalty program and the gift cards. And I'm sure there's a lot more that I could get into, inventory and payroll and all that kind of stuff. But right now I'm just happy that orders come through proper. Everybody gets charged for what they're supposed to and not for something they're not supposed to be charged for. And the online ordering, we love the online ordering. You can do that for takeout or for delivery. Not that we're not pleasant to talk to or that we don't want to talk to our customers, but sometimes we're just too busy to even answer the phone. Today I was so busy, the phone just rang and rang and rang. I couldn't, I'm like, don't answer that phone because we can't help them anyway. We have got customers everywhere and orders flying out. So I love the online ordering through Toast.
Well, and like a lot of people don't realize when you have a drive-through, even though you guys have 3 windows. Because
we have that walk up too.
Oh,
God bless it.
But when you have the windows, each car stacks up. I mean, if you're in the back, you could be there like a long time if your guys aren't. If you answer that phone,
I have to stop and take exactly.
It just stacks up. So yeah, it'd be probably a difficult thing to manage. Have you found that to be probably the most difficult part of the job, or just the time management of the?
I was thinking about this question because I think I heard you ask other people that. I'm going to go with hiring. Finding qualified applicants is tough. I have had a lot of luck in that when I find one, 2 or 3 follow, and we're like in sync for a long time. But it takes, 6 months for a kitchen, even if it's just a coffee hut kitchen, to really get their rhythm and work, really well together.
Right.
And so we don't always get that opportunity. For me, for River City, I am not great at selling myself. So that would definitely be a challenge. Something that I find difficult in the business is spending money on advertising, finding it in the budget. We do like Facebook and Instagram, and we do all right. But if we're not on there every day, things kind of slip away, and then I'll put a lunch post out, and then all of a sudden everybody will show up. I like that.
Right.
I just need to be more consistent with that. So yeah, probably time management in that area for sure. Also, really tiny hut. And we're doing grilled sandwiches, and we have a giant convection toaster. We have a soup pot. We have an oven. We have a sandwich board. You get 2 freezers, 2 refrigerators. I mean, it's packed in there.
Space.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So those aren't, philosophies of business or anything. It's just the actual real logistics of working in this little tiny space. I usually just stand in one spot and turn circles, microwave, toaster, grill, microwave, toaster, grill.
You guys seem to do pretty well with it. So I don't know if you remove that limitation, it would really change much in the operation. You know what I mean? Like you'd still be doing the same good job. I mean, even if the space is bigger, you still got the 2 windows or 3 windows.
And there's
I've
another
never used
thing.
the walk-up one, I guess.
That's another thing. It's we could make some improvements, maybe add on here, get another location or whatnot. But I'm just looking at it like I'm doing it all in this space. I can continue to do it all in the space. Growth is a problem. Only one of us can be making food at a time. So that tends to maybe put the time out on items a little bit longer than I would like. Although I don't really get that many complaints. So I feel like I'm okay. People are still coming. I'm still selling food. It would be nice to have a little more space so I could have a cohort who was helping me. There's just not enough room. So, it's a 4-foot cold board, and I'm making 10 sandwiches. They're helping when they can, but mostly just making sure customers are happy while they wait. That's why the online ordering is really, really convenient. It helps us too.
Right. You could just get a secondary food truck and use that as deliveries. Make the sandwiches, strap the guy in, have him make the sandwiches on the way.
Well, we are looking into something. It's not a done deal yet, but we got a line on a trailer that we're really happy with. Yeah. It's funny because the business we bought in Fairbanks was a dead and dying business. It wasn't doing well. This business here, this is where my husband and I seem to shine. We buy junk that nobody wants and we make something out of it, Yeah. And that was kind of how the Coffee Cow was. It was a nice little business. But they weren't into it anymore.
Yeah.
So we took over because we were really into it.
Yeah.
We were younger than we are now. And I didn't want to work at the bank forever.
Right.
Just didn't, it was what we like to do.
Was it just music that's slightly too quiet to hear at the bank that drives you wild, or just the bank atmosphere?
It's just, I think, all of it. I'm not big on coercing people into loans.
Right.
And opening accounts that they might not need or getting credit cards. All of that just seemed icky to me. But it's not my forte. My daughter was in banking. She loved it. She was very good at it. Not me.
Right.
But I make food and coffee. That's what I do.
So with another podcast with Brox and Bravas, we got on the topic of food inventory and all that kind of stuff, like maintaining the same quality over a long period of time. Did you run into any issues maybe during COVID with product inventory and all that?
Absolutely. But I think I wouldn't say necessarily with the food. The food just got more expensive, but we didn't stop buying good food. We cook our own bacon. We do like 30 pounds of bacon a week, which might not seem like a lot, but it's a lot.
Right.
In that little tiny space.
Right.
Microwave, grill, bacon. Microwave, grill, bacon. And we cook our own chickens in there too for our chicken salad and chicken slices. Food quality, well, you just had to, great example. What's that hot sauce, that sriracha?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that disappeared.
Yeah.
Supposed to be back a year ago. There is. And I had to change to another brand. and nobody complained. And everybody got with it. It was fine. What I have noticed is that paper products are awful. Our
Yes.
plastic cups, our paper cups, our lids, the straws, everything just seems so flimsy now. A cup that I could pour hot into, and make a drink. Now the lids will split, and that it's like they're made of 60% of what they used to be made of. Same thing with grocery sacks, though.
Oh,
you
yeah.
have to double every grocery sack when you're at the grocery store now. I didn't
Yeah.
used to have to do that when they first came out 112 years ago. Okay.
Right.
But that's what I've noticed, to be honest with you. I complain about it 3 times a week. Hate these darn cups.
And you guys, cups are a big requirement.
Absolutely. Absolutely. We end up doubling a lot of our paper cups just because Americanos are freaking hot. But it's just that, of all things, that's just the thing. Paper supplies. It's just like they stop making quality.
Right. It's always aggravating when you have the same vendor, you order the same item, you didn't change anything, but the product changes.
Yes.
And the price doesn't change.
Yes.
If anything, it goes up.
I complained about this a long time ago too. Pretty slow on the uptake, I guess. I used to buy the same Hillshire Farm kielbasa, same place in the, same brand, same place in the grocery store, week after week or whenever, make a nice dinner for my husband or whatnot. And I just could not figure out, the price never went up, but how come I just wasn't smart enough. I'm like, yeah, it's the same stuff, but it's 2 ounces less now, It looks exactly the same. You can't see it, tell it by just with your eye. You got to read the package and realize you're paying the same, but you're getting less. Yeah.
Absurd.
Ugh.
It probably was
Charge me more so I can have what I want, please.
Right. On those big assembly lines, it was probably a big expense to swap over whatever they had to do to get that.
Yeah, to make everything smaller.
Right.
Yes, thank you. Just charge me for what I want.
Right. Yeah.
And I'll be happy.
Wonder if they ever looked at that, the price difference of the packaging and the machinery to make it different on the food processing end.
It's a good question.
Yeah. Best.
Must have been cost effective, I guess.
Who knows? And then a lot of times in these podcasts, we talk about kind of the locations you guys are at. How do you feel about your location? Do you love it right in your spot? You kind of downtown, kind of right in the center of everything. So probably works pretty well for your deliveries and things like that, especially being kind of in the middle of all the business area. I mean, you might be annoyed about delivering to the orchards, maybe. I don't know, but
well, we first of all, I do love my location. It's funny. I'm 1 block off of Main Street, and I still don't get the kind of traffic that say Hot Shots or Dutch Bros gets, but I have good traffic. I have very, very good loyal customers, and somehow they have found their way to me, and I'm very happy about that. Our driveway is a bit small, so only so many cars can fit in it. You can't fit 5 or 6 in there. It's like 3, and now they're spilling out into the street. Again, delivery is great. Calling ahead is wonderful. I will meet you in the parking lot behind my shop and give you your coffee.
Right.
But I actually like my location because I'm not right in the middle. I'm not, Main Street downtown, not right here downtown. And I've done that before. My location in Fairbanks, no parking spots whatsoever. And I had to hear about it every day. And even my employees couldn't park. They'd have to park, 4 blocks away at 30 below and walk to work. And I didn't particularly care for that either. So I love where I am. 1 block off of Main Street is just fine.
Right.
If you found your way to me, then it was destined to be that you were to be here. You
could probably just make your customers happier, just if there wasn't just crazy traffic all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't get 5 or 6 cars in there, but that's all right. Time it right. Time it right.
Right. It never seems to be a huge issue when I'm there. I've been behind maybe 3 cars, and you guys have pretty good drive times.
We try.
Even I got lunch, and I don't feel like it took hardly a long time at all.
Yeah. Well, I think we do a pretty good job with what we've got.
Who's that? I'm not a professional.
I turned my phone off and put it in my purse.
Oh, goodness. I usually put it on the don't disturb and all that. It's kind of a nice feature. It doesn't make any noise.
Right.
But it's on. There's probably not a difference between off at this point. But So any other local businesses that you like to visit or?
Oh yeah. I love Groundwork.
Oh yeah, those guys are fine.
Oh,
They're all right.
pizza's delicious. I like the entertainment that you guys put on, and I love your beer. I love the atmosphere. I just like hanging out there, and everybody who works there, they're so pleasant.
Yeah.
Great customer service there. I like Hops and Vine. Like to go there, and enjoy some music out. There's going to be a bit of a theme going on. I like Bravas.
Yeah.
We like wine. We went to Tapped the other night. That was fine. It was a slow night, so it was kind of quiet. We have been to Ernie's Steakhouse, actually. We had never been before the new owners took over. I'm not quite sure when they took over.
Right.
But I heard some not super great things about them before. But whatever they're doing now is pretty amazing. And so we go there. I like all the thrift stores in town.
Their stores, yeah.
I visit them regularly. I don't know. I'm busy. I am a working woman who owns a business.
Yeah.
Just a little tiny coffee shop.
Definitely
But
hard to get around and get out of town if you feel like it.
Well, and that's the other thing. We're always visiting our friends and family out, so or daughters up north. But yeah, it's hard to get out and do a whole lot between the wine and the beer and the work.
Right. Do you ever go to any of the other coffee shops at all, or is there a guilty pleasure place?
I will go to Hot Shots Cafe up on Brighton, and I will go to Mystic Cafe there. And that's when I want to do some work, but I don't want to go home and do it, So I got my computer and I'll whip it out. I'll be doing inventory or invoicing or whatever it is, QuickBooks stuff. And I went to not Bumper Crop. The one that's downtown. Right here. Is it?
Oh, the Blue Lantern?
Nah, they were cute for fun for a while. It is Bumper Crop, I think. They opened where? Oh,
down. They're kind of down this way.
Yeah.
Get the brand new one.
Yeah, and they're cute inside. Super pleasant. Everybody's really nice. So I don't go through drive-throughs. But I will go and sit at a coffee shop, whatever it is, Hot Shots or Mystic. Yeah. I like to sit there. It makes me, I miss my place up north. I do miss that. Miss having a sit-down place.
Environment.
Yeah. I do miss that, but that's not, I don't think, in my future right now. So
yeah. So if you did open a second location that wasn't in Lewiston, where do you think you would want to have that?
It would probably be in Whitebird.
Whitebird, yeah, that makes sense.
Well, that would be if I lived there, though. Because then I could run that down there.
Right.
Hire somebody to run this up here. Perhaps one of my children would like to come back.
Yeah.
But it would probably be down there because I'm a little older, thinking about what I want to do with the rest of my life. And I think I want to be someplace even quieter than the LC Valley.
Could be. Yeah, sometimes it does feel crazy here. And it feels like it's getting busier as of last, maybe 5 years.
That's because I showed up.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, there's got Main Street's becoming
it's so beautiful,
busier, and all the empty buildings are kind of filling up with places that you'd expect to see on a main street.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there's no competition. Every business helps every other business down there. You know what I'm saying? We had a coffee shop down up there, open right across the street from us. He was our friend. We were his friend, and he opened up his own little coffee shop, and there was no animosity. It was all like, you're going to bring people in, and they're going to come over here, and then my people are going to go check you out, and it's all going to be good. There's room for everybody. Well, empty spaces bring nobody downtown.
It's kind of like the gas station thing. The gas stations open right across the street from each other because if the pumps are full, then they're going to go across the street. So in Groundwork, we want more tap houses and breweries. People will like to hop over to brewery to brewery to brewery.
Absolutely.
And places like Montana and more better example would be like Oregon, where you have 100 breweries. They're not complaining if they get 100 more. It's kind of helps everything. So if there was places in walking distance, we went to Coeur d'Alene a couple weeks ago. There's little pubs and breweries and cocktail bars everywhere, clothing. That's all there is in this little walking distance.
Yeah. Was that like downtown?
Yeah, people everywhere.
Yep.
I've never spent a lot of time up there, so it was kind of a unique little walking evening.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's really beautiful there.
Mhm.
We like it too.
Well, LC Valley might be better
It is.
just because we're here.
No, it is much better. When we first moved here, I had my husband drive me up to Coeur d'Alene, and the closer we got, the more I felt like I was in Alaska.
Mhm.
And then you go in the wintertime and you're like, yep, I'm in Alaska. And I get back down south
Right.
where it's nice and warm.
Yes.
Like I said, every place is beautiful. It's new to me.
Mhm.
It's different, forever in Alaska. Gorgeous, but yeah.
Right. Well, I feel like the people that lived here their whole life get a little jaded on the valley. I think you drive around the river, the hills, it's all beautiful, especially like during the nighttime when you can kind of just look down the river and see all the hills lit up with the sun setting. It's all
Think they just don't appreciate it anymore?
maybe they just grew up here. You always hear the people that move away, and a few years later they'll move right back.
Yeah.
They'll move to like Boise or something, and they'll just come right back.
It's just nice here. Those people should take some vacation so that they can appreciate what they've got, right?
Yeah, I'll go to Spokane and get sick of it after
Oh
day
my
2
gosh,
and then come right back.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I kind of like the city thing, but I would never,
It's good to visit.
I'd never choose it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So LC Valley is pretty great in my opinion.
I do too.
Could be greater. We'll find out.
Yeah. And only go up from here. It's perfect.
Yes.
It's perfect.
Is there anything you'd like to see in the valley that maybe isn't here yet?
I honestly can't think of anything. I'm still kind of new, so I haven't explored everything that's here.
Right.
But I'm really happy with what I see.
Yeah. What's kind of the favorite thing to do in the area besides, I don't know, wineries and breweries and
My husband and I love to go kayaking.
kayaking?
Yeah.
Where do you do that at?
We'll let in at Hell's Gate. Is that what it is?
Oh, yeah.
Hell's Gate.
Mhm.
And then we float down Groundwork.
Oh, yeah.
We let out there at the bottom of Snake River and 16th, I guess, whatever that's called there. We'll do that. We like to go out to Chief Timothy. Those are really our two spots. We haven't ventured out that much. We've only had our kayaks for a few years. And so, between work and all, we maybe get out 5 or 6 times this summer.
Right.
But I mean, if you were asking, that's our number one thing that we like to do.
Kayaking.
That doesn't involve breweries or wineries.
Yeah. Breweries and wineries are fun, and you don't have to spend the whole evening there. And yeah, it's kind of a
Well, you get a little exercise,
quick thing. And yeah.
listen to some music, get some sunshine, and enjoy each other's company.
Right.
And man, you can't lose when you're on the water.
Well, do you guys do catering or anything like that?
No, we just don't really have the space for that.
Right.
I did a couple of jobs early on, but no, just no space. I don't have the room for that. I shop every single morning for my business because I don't have space for more than one day's worth of business. Let's say, I can only buy
Shopping is a daily occurrence.
every single morning at 6:45 at Winco.
Yeah. I actually enjoy grocery shopping for some weird reason.
Yeah,
But I'm the weird guy that just like I see something weird, I have to throw at least one odd item in there. So I spend too much money.
No, I have a list. I stick to the list. The list is life.
Yes. Well, do you guys take orders online? I've never tried doing that.
Yeah. So you Google us. I know that there's got to be a better way to explain how to find me and how to place your order online. But if you Google us, I think there's 2 little tabs underneath our listing. I guess it is. Order online or online order. And there might even one that says toast. So you can do it 2 different ways. Either one of those will get you where you need to go.
Nice.
Yeah.
And you can call in. What's you guys' phone number there?
208-798-4488.
Man, I wouldn't have been able to pull out my business phone number. I was like, oh man, maybe you shouldn't ask that question.
That's so funny because I couldn't remember it for like the first 2 years either.
Man, I when I first bought my house, I couldn't give my address. I was like, I don't know where my house is. Please help me get home. And then what was your guys' address again?
1441 G Street, right behind the community center.
Yes, that's how I always remember. Like, community center. Let's go there. Go like you're trying to see the police.
Right.
Turn. Yes.
And then pull in real quick and get a coffee.
Right. Well, thank you very much. I think people will probably see this. Maybe want to come stop and grab a coffee and
Yeah,
try your awesome lunch. Yeah.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah.
You can call for pickup.
Yes. Yeah. I didn't do that. I'm rude. I'm pulling.
You don't have to.
Say, hey, sandwich, please. I'm hungry. I'm dying. Yes. Well, thank you very much. Oh, and what was your name?
I'm Bobbi Eller.
There we go. Thank you. Cheers.
Thanks, son.
Yeah.